Luke Nagle from Advanced Ag in Shepparton, an agronomist for the Goulburn Valley area. Been an agronomist in the district for about 15 years, specialising in with dairy farmers and broadacre cropping and summer cropping.
So, what is pugging?
Pugging is damage caused to pastures by dairy cows or cattle in general, typically caused by a wet winter usually. Which is basically what pugging. So it's a hole in the ground that destroys paddocks.
What are the factors? Well, you said that weather is a factor. Why is the weather a factor, and what are the other factors that?
The main reason for pugging is just been a wet winter this year, wetter than most probably in the last 5 years. So with wet soil and you put cows on a paddock, as you can imagine, the ground becomes soft and the cow's feet go through the ground, which creates that pug mark. Ways to minimise that, basically minimise pugging, is either don't put cows in the paddock to start with, which is pretty hard when you're trying to run a dairy farm, and if you do put them in the paddock, which most guys have, keep them in there for as short a period as possible to graze as much feed as possible, and that time period usually about 1.5 to 2 hours, and then pull the cows out of that paddock to minimise pugging. So the longer a cow's in the paddock, the more they walk around, the more holes they put in the ground, and the more damage they do.
So is there any preventative measures to stop, well, once pugging has happened, is there any sort of cures or?
So to fix a paddock basically that's got a lot of pug marks in it, there's a few different options. A perennial pasture system, so one that's watered all summer and green all winter. Pasture rollers have been used in the past. Oversowing, maybe with tine seeders, can help smash those pug marks down. That's probably about all we got in terms of knocking pugs down in perennials, and the cows themselves actually will probably push those pugs in a bit as well, as in the ridges on those pugs. When we go to an annual paddock like what you see behind us here, most likely it'll go into a summer crop. So most summer crop have preparation where we work the soil, so we rip and disc for a corn paddock, for example. That'll clear out all the pug marks and flatten the paddock out again and get it back to the standard for putting in corn, and then probably putting in a cereal or a ryegrass in the autumn. But perennials are a bit harder to manage in what we do in a severe case. If they are severely pugged, you may have to look at a full renovation, which might mean get to the end of October, spray the paddock out, cultivate it to get a nice friable, fine level finish, and then either put a summer crop in such as sorghum or millet, maybe even corn.
So why are the perennial ones more susceptible?
Why are they?
Yeah, why are they? Yeah.
I'd say the annuals are more susceptible.
Oh, right,
the annuals, typically because they've been cultivated in the past, and the soil structure may not be quite as good, so the cow's feet seems to go through them a lot easier. The perennials hold up better as they're typically worked less. They've got a lot more root mass. The root mass holds the ground together a lot more. It's just basically less cultivation over that same period as what an annual would be. So therefore the cows hold up a bit better. They act a bit more like a sponge, I'd say, higher in organic matter. They soak in the moisture better. It doesn't sit around on top as much as what we typically see on annuals.